Lord is my shepherd, and I shall not want. The Lord is my shepherd.
The road from emancipation to equality was not easy for freed slaves, but African Americans persevered, including those in the city of Dallas. The first African American public school in Dallas opened in 1892. Today, Booker T. Washington High School still stands in downtown Dallas. As children were educated, their parents gained financial footing thanks to an ex-slave named Doc Rowan.
Doc Rowan was my maternal great-grandfather. He became an entrepreneur. He owned extensive real estate in North Dallas, and he owned real estate near the Fair Park area.
Rowan also owned a grocery store and used his combined wealth to loan money to aspiring African American entrepreneurs.
There's no doubt that he was an inspiration.
Despite financial strides, racial intolerance and violence persisted. To meet these challenges, the NAACP was formed in 1909 and soon spread to Dallas 10 years later.
The NAACP in Dallas helped African Americans to gain voting rights, to get housing, to build a new high school, specifically Lincoln High School, and of course to address criminal justice issues.
Local citizens became civil rights heroes in their push for equality, including A. Maceo Smith.
Basically, they called him Mr. Organizer, Mr. Civil Rights, because he did so much in terms of promoting the rights of African Americans in Dallas. He helped to run the Dallas Express newspaper. He became the state secretary of the Texas State Conference, the branches of the NAACP.
Another legendary civil rights pioneer in Dallas, who was fearless in her march towards equality, was Juanita Craft.
Well, Juanita Craft joined the NAACP in Dallas in 1935. It became a local recruiter, and so she led young African Americans in protesting at the state fair, protesting at theaters in downtown Dallas. She's the person, though, who's sort of out there for 40, 50 years, organizing, putting her life on the line, advocating for voting rights, working to integrate the Texas State Fair, and literally saying we will not accept second-class citizenship for African Americans in Dallas.
The justice system provided little legal recourse for African Americans in the Jim Crow South, but a turning point occurred in Dallas in 1921 when an unassuming African American lawyer defended 2 black children.
J.L. Turner was actually the first African American native lawyer in Dallas. He also practiced longer than any other lawyer in the city to this day, of over a period of almost 70 years.
Turner successfully defended the 2 children accused in the accidental deaths of 2 firefighters. Other legal milestones followed in the 1930s. Blacks were allowed to serve on grand juries, as well as join the Dallas Police Department. Despite these gains, segregation and violence persisted. Black homes and businesses were bombed in the city, causing a housing shortage for African Americans. With the help of the NAACP and local leaders, a solution arose. It was called Hamilton Park.
They started developing this community. The black leaders and some other civic leaders went to the bank and got money and donations to build Hamilton Park.
The 60s proved a turning point towards integration and inclusion with the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Voting Rights Act of 1965, and the Fair Housing Act of 1968. But the city of Dallas did not embrace this change. City leaders took advantage of eminent domain to buy out and bulldoze black housing for Fair Park expansion. Homeowners had little say and received minimal compensation. The courts agreed with the city. Local civil rights leaders needed help.
This photo was taken on the old Dallas City Hall steps.
They called upon Reverend Peter Johnson, a national civil rights activist in town, promoting a film about the life of Martin Luther King.
These people, homes were being taken. They were just little shotgun houses, but they were homes to these people.
Following Johnson's lead, African Americans organized protests in Dallas. The city's expansion project eventually fell through, but Johnson stayed in Dallas and has spent the last 40 years fighting for equal rights for African Americans.
Out of tragedies emerged leadership and sincerity.
By the early 80s, Dallas became integrated politically. Elsie Faye Higgins joined the Dallas City Council. John Wiley Price was elected to the Dallas County Commissioners Court. Eddie Bernice Johnson was the first African American elected to Congress from Texas. And Ron Kirk was the first African American elected mayor of Dallas.
We take for granted that we see African Americans serving as city council persons and on the school board. It took African Americans all the way from 1935 up to 1967, 32 years, to be able to get elected to office in the city of Dallas.
Today, the city of Dallas takes pride that it is a city of inclusion. And thanks to the commitment of past civil rights pioneers, the city of Dallas continues to build on its past civil rights successes. You can learn more about our city and its heritage at visitdallas.com.